All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Thursday evening. Another edition of KFTV Postgame Live. CP the franchise in the building. One of those nights, no music, no monologue, no theatrics, no excitement. Because we have a third game between the Knicks and the Pistons, this time at Madison Square Garden. And you get the same result. A Detroit Piston beatdown. This time in the world's most famous arena. Packed house, the celebrities, all of that. First game outside, back from the All-Star break. And they once again get dragged across the bar. Dragged. Pummeled. Destroyed. Any other adjective? You know, I was working on my adjectives with little man today. The kids are off on winter break. We were working on our adjectives today. Humiliated. Embarrassed. Any other adjectives we want to use tonight for the New York Knicks? 126-111. They get dog walked once again by the Detroit Pistons, who are the class of the East. Let's give credit where it is due. We did the preview show earlier this week with my guy Kuka Heel, and some Knicks fans in the comments like, CP, you letting this guy glaze all over the Pistons. One thing you guys got to know here on the number one show for the fans by the fans, I'm a realist, I am objective, and I'm going to call it like it is. When I see a team like this outclassing the Knicks in the first two games, this one was going to be a tall order. I don't care if Durant and Stewart are not playing. Because the Pistons have shown us the ability to win games without key guys all year. They are the class of the East. So that is why we had to speak about them in the way that we did, because we knew that the Knicks were going to have a tough challenge tonight no matter who was playing. I wanted to see how they were going to meet the compete level and meet the energy level. Well, for a quarter and a half, it was pretty good. You had spirited play by the captain, Jalen Brunson, who had to go out there and set the tone for his team. And take that Asar challenge on after Asar and those boys shut him down the first time around. So you had that. And then in that second quarter, about midway through, it all but fell apart for the New York Knicks. And before you know it, they went into the half down by double digits. The crowd's getting quiet. And now you're in an uphill battle against an elite defense. Elite. Elite defense. Give credit where it is due. And for the Pistons, I'm going to start with the head of the snake, and that was Cade Cunningham. You know, we've seen, unfortunately for Knicks fans, we've seen a lot of MSG masterclasses at our expense. Not necessarily with our players. We still commemorating the dunk. But guys are coming into our house and kicking our ass. From Jordan to LeBron, to Kobe, rest in peace, to the chef, Steph Curry, even no names. But tonight, Cade Cunningham was absolutely brilliant. A 40-point double assist masterclass from Cade Cunningham. We're going to give credit where credit is due on this show. One of the things I talked about with my guy Koo was the fact that, what have you seen to slow this guy down? Because from what I've seen, when the Knicks have thrown their best defender on him in OG Anunoby, he's gotten cooked. Let's just be real. That is a concern. Yeah, we can talk about, don't worry about it. The playoffs will be back. That is a concern. This is a different Cade Cunningham. He's gotten better. He's gotten more physical. He's gotten more cerebral. His ability to draw contact at shooting fouls is better. Look up the numbers. This is a different guy. I said it. There's only a couple people who I've seen manhandle the dog this year. Giannis, Franz, and Cade Cunningham, and this is his second time he's gotten him. Now, OG was rusty. It was a brutal game for him on both ends of the court. But he offered zero resistance to Cade Cunningham tonight. The entire wing stop, Cade Cunningham cooked him well done. Shout out to Jeremy Sochan. He gave it a good effort, but he came in a little bit too late. So Cade was just brilliant tonight, man. Brilliant. Let's give him that credit. Now, another big storyline in this one was the Towns factor. Out the gates, quiet. And then there's always the debate. He's got to do this. The team's not doing this. Brunson's not doing this. Brown's not doing this. I think it's just a combination of all the above. Because as we saw, when the game started, they're not even going to him. Even in the second quarter, when Towns is running with that second unit, Jose can't even get him the ball. And I'm like, yo, what are we doing here? It's a combination of both. Brown has got to figure out in this offense how to get this guy going, and Towns has got to go out there and execute and be aggressive. The problem with Towns is he locks out up here. He locks out. No cat, no rings. I said it in CK's play-by-play. Shout out to CK2K. I said it out there on Twitter. No cat, no rings. So what happens? Second half, he comes out with 10 points in the third quarter. Aggressive. They're going to him. He's forcing the issue. Things are looking cool. All right? However, every time it seems like I defend the guy and he locks out up here, he's making mistakes. And tonight, man, oh man, it was brutal in the pick and roll coverages. They destroyed him. As soon as Cade breaks down the point of attack, they're going right at Karl-Anthony Towns. The dunks, Matador defense, straight to the rack. So for every point that he's putting up on the offensive end, he's giving 20 right back. That's why you saw that they couldn't cut the lead. I'm not blaming it all on Towns, but it was a big factor. They have got to get this figured out. It's a tall order. Detroit is that good. They were that good tonight. But you're not gonna beat this team with just Jalen Brunson willing his team to victory. You're not gonna do that against this team. They are too good. They are vastly improved. This is not last year's Pistons. You know, the regular season wins that they got over the Knicks last year, at least they were tightly contested games. Not this year. These are 3 masterclass bloodbaths. So we can talk about, oh, the playoffs are going to be different if we got them in the playoffs. I wouldn't be so sure about that with this team. Because Cade is playing at MVP level. Their defense is elite. And now they got more depth. You see Karis LeVert out there after Captain Clutch, after Jalen Brunson cooked him in the first half with a crazy move, or was that the third quarter? He came right back at Brunson. You had no Stewart, no Duren, and one of my keys for this one, the rebounding battle. The Knicks could not afford to lose the rebounding battle tonight. Let's take a look at the box score, ladies and gentlemen. Rebounds, Detroit, 44. Knicks, 38. You had Paul Reed. What do they call him? Big Paul Reed? Big game Reed? Pause. Paul Reed, great tonight. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 stocks, 3 blocks, and a steal, including a big one on Karl-Anthony Towns. Sent them a message and sent them packing. The other guy off the bench, Tolu Smith. These guys outplayed, out-hustled Mitch and Karl-Anthony Towns. No Duren, no Stewart, and you still lose in the frontline battle. Let's not even talk about Josh Hart. He was still on all-star vacation. Brutal night for Wingstop all the way across the board. It's to the point where in the fourth quarter, I'm begging Mike Brown, take Josh Hart out the game and bring Sochan in here. We need a spark. If Mitch and Carl is getting bullied out there by Paul Reed and the other dude, you're getting outclassed everywhere. This is why I'm saying, like, all right, if you want to try to put this in the playoffs, we'll be all right. I wouldn't be so quick to say that. Because between the athleticism, the physicality, and now these guys are hitting threes. They're supposed to be a bad three-point shooting team. They almost went 50, 40, 90 on the Knicks tonight. 43% from downtown. On the other side, Knicks couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. 8 for 35, they shot 23%. Another brutal shooting night from three for the Knicks, and they get outscored from three by the Pistons for 2 games in a row. They got outscored 39-24 from three. So it's like, where was this game within reach for the Knicks? Nowhere. This is why you get the result that you get. Brutal night, man. Wingstop, absolutely brutal. 3 of 18 for OGs coming back from the toe injury. I'll give him the night off. 5 of 8 for Hart, but ineffective. 4 of 9, only 9 shots. Mikal Bridges, 8 points. Somebody got to go out there and make shots. That's why you got Shamet out there unleashing the cannon. 15 points for him, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from downtown. He's trying to make something happen out there. Yeah, I'm tight tonight, man. We waited all week. Yeah, the All-Star break, everything, no basketball. You got people babbling all over the place, all these clips flying around. Stephen A. yakking all over the place. The first night of basketball, and they got dragged across the bar again. We'll see what happens on Saturday against the Rockets, but come on, man. This was a message. Cade went in there and sent another message. So I do like that in the sense that they got sent a rude awakening by this team again. They said, we're not playing the little brother role again. You coming through Detroit if you want the East. You got to go get gritty and go get bloody. They going to take it in blood. You are going to have to take it in blood if you want the East. Unbelievable, man. You know, and I'm looking at, one of my other keys was the turnover battle. Like, if you look at it numbers-wise, it wasn't that bad in that, you know, the Knicks turned it over 12 times and they gave up 10 points to Detroit. That was about half of what they gave up between the first 2 games combined. However, they were very untimely, and every time they turned the ball over, Detroit turns those into points. Every possession counts against this team. You cannot afford to blink against this team. And so, case in point, like with the whole Towns thing, again, not to rail on them. However, like case in point, you're cooking in the third quarter. He's cooking. The Knicks get a turnover. Now this guy thinks he's Magic Johnson. And now he's trying to throw alley-oops to OG from the half court. We don't need that. That is what I mean where he just locks out up here. You think Cade Cunningham is doing that? Every possession counts against this team, gang. Everyone. You cannot afford those type of sloppy, locked out plays. You know, Brunson got caught on some of those. Alvarado got caught on some of those. You got to execute on everything. So there was a lot of bad there. I like the Sochan minutes. You know, Sochan got in, and he got in Cade's jersey. Sochan gave you a better defensive effort than OG did. Blue and orange hair and everything. Gonna be interesting to see how Brown figures out this rotation, man, because, you know, another one of these things, give credit to Tobias, the hometown kid. When Cade is you know, chilling on the bench, Tobias had some timely shots. Now, he shot 4-16 from the field, right? But 11 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, a block and a steal. He did what he had to do. He scrapped. But I thought there were some possessions in this game where the Knicks got caught and the Pistons were able to get them on the mismatches. For example, Tobias shooting over guys like a Shamit, like a Josh Hart, right? Shot goes up. Of course, yeah, you're going to try to shut off Cade, but whoever is guarding Jalen Brunson typically takes advantage of it on the hustle plays. Javonte Green, Asar, they are relentless. Somebody said Brunson had how many turnovers? Cap? Yeah, Cap had 6. 6 turnovers. And some of those were off of lazy passes. You can't afford to be lazy against this team. You can't lock out up here against this team. They have length, they have wingspan, and then they have athleticism. So if you're going to turn the ball over or if you're going to take a terrible 3, they're off to the races, man. You've got to knock down your shots against this team. Six turnovers tonight. And still, you know, they gave up 20-some-odd points or 30-some-odd points in the first game, 20-some-odd points in the second game. You know, congrats. Like I said, this was a Cade Cunningham message and an MVP caliber master class. The East goes through Detroit. Detroit now moves, it should be 7 games above the Knicks now with this win. And another sweep. Not another sweep. They didn't get swept last year in the regular season, but damn, I don't even remember the last time they beat this team in the regular season. But they got swept this year. 126-111. Call me on the Discord. Let me know why you're mad. We start the post All-Star. I'm gonna get Alex in here in a second. We start the post All-Star in Knicks therapy mode. Sent these guys a message. Beat them half to death, man. Golly, I mean, it was brutal. And then they tried to fake Knicks comeback. I'm not trying to see that. I'm not trying to see that. We're not doing that tonight. Shout out to the art man formerly known as Steve. $20 super chat. Number 1 in the chat leaderboard says, Knicks didn't play well. OG and Bridges couldn't hit shots. Knicks lost by 15. Couldn't hit a 3, 8 of 35 from the field. Pistons hit 13 of 30. That's the difference in the game. Refs also, what the refs do? What the refs do, Steve? When you're getting smoked in this kind of way, what are we blaming the refs about? You weren't in their league tonight. I don't, what are we blaming the refs about? What with the cat non-calls? All right. You still weren't in their league. If you want to blame the ref on like in a tightly contested game and like, you know, they screwed you on one play that could have swung the game one way or the next. It wasn't helping us tonight. First Latest Sports, we lost the game last 4 minutes of the second quarter. Bingo. Last 4 minutes of the second quarter. That ain't the refs. That is a Detroit destruction. They got to their A game. They rose up. And what did the Knicks do? They folded. Period. They folded. And against, this is the best defensive team in the league. This is the best defensive team in the league. So when you're down by 13 and Cade cooking like Michael Jordan, it's over with. You're down by 30. Let me go some more super chats. Shout out Albert Baez, $10 super chat. Says Cat looking out of sync on offense and almost unserviceable on defense. He got to step up his professionalism and lock in. Yeah. You're definitely right on that, man. All right, let me get Al loaded up in here. How you feeling, man? What's good, man?
Pardon for my tardiness. Son had to wake up.
Yeah,
so,
it's all good, man.
You know,
it's
had to go take care of dad duties, but this is ugly, man. It's at this point, it's just disappointing when you watch this team go against the Pistons, and it's like all I wanted, CP, was just a competitive game, and I feel like we'd even get that in the second half. I mean, between OG missing shots, you have no centers for the Detroit Pistons. You don't have Duran. You don't have Stewart. And we can't take advantage of that. Just very, very disappointing performance. Very frustrating performance, considering this is the team that we most likely, depending on our seeding in the Eastern Conference, that we're going to have to face, you know, in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right? Or even the second round.
Might be second
round.
Very
disappointing. Just disappointing, man.
Might be second round, bro.
Might be second round, but it's just disappointing, man. And it's just, I mean, defensively, I said, look, I was on New York Port. Sorry, man. I'm just like trying to gather my thoughts because it's just very frustrating because it started off where you're like, okay, Pistons got a little bit of a lead. And then the second half comes around and it's like everything just starts to crumble at the end of the third quarter, all into the fourth. And it's like, you throw your hands up saying, all right, man.
Frazzled, bro.
We're back to square one against this team. And all I want, and I said this to Brandon, shout out to our guy Brandon London on the New York Post, I just want to see a competitive game, man. I just want to see a competitive game, knowing that it is not far. The gap is not far. However, it feels like it's that far. Now, granted, anything could change in the postseason. We saw this last year. We lost to the Thunder, we lost to the Cavs, we lost to the Celtics. We beat the Celtics in the second round. But it just feels like for a team that doesn't have a lot of great offense, and you spoke about this with Koo, they just have this elite defense that could just frazzle you. And the Knicks just don't seem to understand how to decode it, man. And that's just a buzzsaw for this team. Athleticism, detractors. I mean, you know, this is why you go out and you go get somebody like Alvarado, Sochan. That's why you bring these guys in here to add that grittiness, to add that depth. And I thought like some of the coaching from like Brown was a little questionable tonight. I mean, you brought Sochan in to be a disruptor, and I know you just see a glimpse of it at the end of the third going into the fourth, but it's like, why weren't we using him when you didn't get really much out of Josh Hart this game? OG didn't have a great game today. Why aren't we going to Sochan? Why aren't we going to more Mo Diawara? Why aren't we getting some other answers? Why aren't we seeing who wants to be out there and fight tonight? And instead, we just get to watch Cade do whatever he wants, and then everybody else gets to follow. And it's just a very frustrating night, man, because you want to get some sort of semblance that, like I said earlier, that you're not that far from this team, man. And for a year that feels like this could be the next year, Pistons are coming out of nowhere and look like a buzzsaw.
Yeah, well, it's the Pistons year right now until the Knicks prove it, because as you said, they got absolutely rattled from the second half of that second quarter straight through, and they never recovered. And so that's not a great sign. Bang, bang. Shout out to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D, a $100 super chat. Shout out to the OG man. Says, listen, Knicks versus everybody, especially good if Stephen A. Smith quits us, thankfully. Yeah, hopefully by tomorrow, first take, he'll retire as a Knicks fan. That'll be good. He says, however, son of a Bick is coaching with flames in his eyes. Yeah, JB Bickerstaff, he's out for redemption. He has these guys rolling right now. Has hit all the right buttons, saying all the right things, has these guys motivated, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's going to get that Coach of the Year, I think, and it will be well deserved, man. Shout out to JB Bickerstaff. He's doing a hell of a job. But he says we got him fired once in Cleveland, and packing last year. The Brown speeches ain't matching that. Detroit players rocking that same anger under him. 1,000% facts. And then Brown walks off the court and, gleefully gives him a hug and a handshake and a kiss and all of that and says, hey, let's go play golf tomorrow before you guys skip town. So shout out to
where's the fire, man?
Yeah.
Where's the fire?
Yeah, that's one thing he ain't got. Again, y'all want me to bury Tips and TV, I'll bury it, but that's one thing he ain't got. He ain't got that fire, man. If you have the Brown presser, just send that my way when you get a chance. I'm gonna go through some more of these super chats. Shout out to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D, absolutely spot on. Sends a $10 super chat. Says JB is coaching very, very angry. He's leading those troops for war. Family show basketball, man. Duran faced during All-Star game looked like he wanted to fight someone. At least Sochan and GTA got reps. Yeah, that was that was one of the bright spots. I did like the Sochan scrappiness. At least he got in Cade's jersey, made it a little bit difficult for him. Cade did when they got the second chance opportunity late when they were trying to climb back in. Cade got that three, but at least he made it a little bit scrappy for him, and the refs let him play. The refs let him play, so we'll see, man. We'll see how they integrate Sochan. I think one of the things I was saying was that the Knicks did get caught being small at times in this game, and when we talk about playoff rotations and things of that nature, it's going to be interesting. This is where Brown is going to have a tough time, man, and he's going to get second guess on every loss if they lose. Because if Deuce is healthy, where do you square up with Deuce versus the Alvarado? How do you factor in a Sochan versus a Shamit? You know what I'm saying? Versus a Hart. Because if Hart ain't going, you're going to be like, oh, we got to get scrappier. We got to get more athletic. Tough decisions to make. He's going to have tough decisions to make. But I thought there were times in this game where they got caught being small.
For sure. They had a rotation of Hart, Alvarado, Brunson, Mitch, and Shamit out there at once. I was like, why are you going with that rotation?
That was brutal. I was like,
that made no sense.
That was brutal.
And it is nothing against Shamit and Alvarado, but this is a team that has wingspan and athleticism, man. That's just you're giving them an advantage in that moment.
Yeah.
And if you brought in Sochan, I don't care if he's been here for a week, for 2 days, for even 24 hours, man. You brought him in here for defense. 10 minutes in his first outing is unacceptable. This is the team that you brought him. This is the team, CP. This is legitimately the team. You go out there and go get him. Now, I could say it's also, look, Sochan is not great offensively. And so you got to be careful with the rotation you put him out there, man. It's not easy. And so, people didn't like that. I said he is a 4, all right? And by that, I don't mean defensively. We know what he can do defensively, man. But offensively, you gotta think of who he is. Because he's not a true wing. He's not going to be able to shoot from the perimeter and attack like that. And he's not a 5 where you can plant him in the paint. He does have some good post moves, playing in chaos once he gets a rebound. But, he is a limited player offensively. So you got to be careful where you put him out there, man. But I thought even in tonight's matchup where you do not have a lot of answers, and you go look at Josh Hart's stat numbers, you go look at all those things. You go look at Shamit. Shamit was having a tough night today too, man.
Yeah.
Throw him out there, go be a disruptor, slow them down. We have enough offense. The offense will figure itself out. We put up 111 points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's going to figure itself out. Go figure out something defensively because you got to stop this team down. And for a team that didn't have Duran, tonight, and he's been very good offensively for them this season. Like they just got back into the game, and you allowed them to get back into the game when they were shooting bricks to start off. You allowed them to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And when you start seeing teams get comfortable, sometimes you got to go, hey, who are guys that I know are going to make them uncomfortable? I thought he did a decent job when you had Alvarado out there, and then you get Jenkins with his third foul in the first quarter, because Alvarado, and this is something where, Deuce doesn't necessarily do this. Deuce is a very good defender, but when you have somebody like Alvarado who knows how to be pesky and just matches that energy that Jenkins gives, right? Like Jenkins is trying to rush up the court, trying to get past Alvarado. Alvarado goats him into getting to that offensive foul because now he's matching that energy. And you see that Jenkins is not necessarily going to be trying to bully Alvarado like he does Kolek, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I would say you do the same thing with Sochan. And you saw how Cade got aggravated with Sochan on him. Go to that early. Throw them out of their game early. Why wait? That's why you got these guys.
The clips you sent me, that was Brown from yesterday or that was tonight? That wasn't tonight, right? That wasn't tonight, right? I think those look like the yesterday joints. If you see the ones from tonight, just send them over to me and I'll play that. So to everybody in the chat, man, like, share, subscribe. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. We tight right now, man. Knicks got their ass whooped once again by the Detroit Pistons. Shout out to Detroit. Great game by Cade Cunningham and a lousy game by the Knicks all the way across the board. As Al said, the Knicks fired the first shot early, but Knicks ate those. I mean, the Pistons ate those up. And once they slowly climbed back into this game, I said, oh boy, all right. Now we got a dogfight on our hands, and let's see how these guys handled it. And they didn't. They folded, and that was pretty much it. You had a Detroit beatdown and a masterclass. Shout out to MJ923, man. Welcome to the franchise channel members. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format. So if you have to drop off, we are available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And salute to the replay gang. Caesar Johnson, welcome to the franchise channel memberships. Shout out to Philly Raider 215. He's a franchise channel member. $10 super chat says you can't lose by 15 at the crib to the top seed as a contender. If we come up short this year, Bridges and Cat in a package for Giannis. Wasn't expecting much from OG tonight, but we must do better. Well, look, this is the thing, man. This is the thing. And I think this is what everybody's going to be quick to run to, especially when they hit adversity and they lose. And I saw, shout out to Aggravated, man, I saw the same thing where he's like, Detroit is showing Leon how to build a team, but we're talking about apples and oranges here. We're talking about apples and oranges here when we're talking about Detroit, when we're talking about the Thunder, when we're talking about teams that are largely built through the draft, through the lottery, in terms of acquiring premium talent. So now to say that, package these up and go get Giannis, all right, well, on one end, you're getting better on one side, but if you're going to lose your depth, how much are you really gaining? It's not that easy, man. And it might not be just a Cat and McCall. It might be more. Maybe it's a dude. Like, it might be more. So we got to understand here when we're talking about, again, not trying to panic and write the epitaph and put the tombstone on the season, but the Giannis thing to run to when these guys, look at these guys, are running through 1 through 12, 13, 14 deep. It's not as easy, man. It's not easy. So, we'll see how it goes.
It's not easy when, once again, and CP, I don't know how you felt when you didn't see Duran or Stewart out there, but when you see Paul Reed, when you see Tolu out there, and they're having success against our first and second string center, like that,
yeah,
that's concerning. That's not a talent. That's not necessarily like, oh, let's go get Giannis. That's an internal, like, yo, where's the fight? Where's the grit?
Yeah,
where's the strategy? And I feel like once again, you have, and I know Detroit, they were hounding Cat, they were collapsing, they were forcing. I mean, you could even go to the play where they overturned the call for the foul against Cat, where then it's Cat actually hooking, right? Like,
yeah,
I felt like they didn't utilize Cat in advantageous ways.
They never do.
Don't have their top centers, and it's like we keep talking about this, man, and we saw it prior to the break. When you get him going, it makes it easier. And look, you mentioned it. Cat has his flaws, but you got to make it simpler, man. And I feel like once again they made it 10 times harder offensively than they needed to. I mean, why not even get Cat like going early from downtown? That first half, I was like,
that is all, but that is last year, Cat, bro. That Cat's gone, man. Right now, he's gone, man.
But that's a coaching thing, then.
Yeah,
that's a coaching thing, and it's like you bring in Mike Brown to make this offense easier, and it's now harder. And every time I was looking at it, like even in the second half, I'm like, all right, Alvarado, gets a screen from Cat. I think later on, like I saw him finally get to Cat. Cat had a good dive to the basket, gets a good layup. But I'm like, there's just so many opportunities, so many missed opportunities to get Karl-Anthony Towns involved offensively. And every time I see him get involved offensively, he's like the fifth option to get involved offensively, which is wild to me. Where you're all-star, the big man that you traded for, to make things easier for Brunson and for this team to get the spacing that you want. He is the fifth option?
Bro,
that means the fifth option?
It took them 10 years into that second quarter just to get on the rock. It was crazy, man. Meanwhile, the Pistons are winning the non-Cade minutes in the second half, cooking the Knicks in the non-Cade minutes in the second half. And, when you're asking about Duren and Stewart, I respected this game to not think that their absence was going to make this an easy game for the Knicks. I did not think this was going to be an easy game.
I didn't even think it was going to be an easy game
without those guys.
I didn't even think it was going to be an easy game, but I just thought like, hey, you got a little bit of a leg up. You got your all-star center out there. They don't have their all-star center. They don't have their best backup.
Couldn't win it.
And you still couldn't get that. You still could not get the advantage.
Bro, Mitch and Carl got outplayed, and I'm like, bro, at least tonight, the only thing I thought that we should have had tonight was the rebounding battle, and they lost. They couldn't even win that, bro. They couldn't even win on the boards. If you can't win the possession battle against those guys without Stewart and Duren, it's over with. That's what Koo was talking about.
I was about to say that. Exactly. I watched your preview with Koo, and great job by you on that. And Koo mentioned it is a possession battle against Detroit. He's like, is it going to be the prettiest offense? No, but they will get more possessions than you, and that's where they're going to get, and that's where they're going to win. And it's like the time of possession battle when you watch like an NFL game, right? Like whoever holds on to the ball the longest, they're going to win typically. Pistons, they get more opportunities, so they're going to go win. But this is why it's like, this is like, I get that Mike Brown wants to create that up-tempo pace, but sometimes you have to give it in a little bit to what the guy works best with. And in this case, for Karl-Anthony Towns, we know throughout his entire career, it's a half-court game, slower game, and just you have to get him involved. I understand it. I understand. We talk about it all the time. We understand the defensive lapses. We understand the offensive fouls. We understand everything that he does. But if you're gonna just look at this guy as a like a high-end role player at this point, and look for him to be a top defensive player, then we're wasting the time that we have here with Karl-Anthony Towns. That it just does not make sense at all. So you got to lean into what his strengths are, and they're not even doing that.
Yeah.
Mike Brown is not doing that. And against a Detroit team, especially tonight, where it is Cade, Tobias Harris probably being the second best offensive option, you're telling me that you can't have legitimately the two guys that we saw in the All-Star break be better than that. That's crazy to me.
Shout out to M8007, $10 super chat to CP ever since you highlighted it. I can't unsee it. Cat and Brunson fail to play off of each other. It's all individual. No two-man game playing off of each other. Love how GTA looks for Cat also. Yeah, there is no chemistry there, as I said. There is no cohesiveness. And they show it to you on the court. They don't play off of each other. And again, they don't create advantages together. They don't create advantages together. You're going to have a hard time winning games without that, man. Shout out, Junior. Shout out to JFK the God. 624 $20 super chat says, I pray the day where Deuce and Alvarado play together and the full court press together. One person pressing the ball won't work. No different looks thrown at Cade. We laid down. Mitch also phoned it in tonight. Mitch was getting outworked, man. And we'll see. We'll see if Brown has, was this just a vanilla looks that he was throwing at Cade, because you don't want JB and them getting to see what you're going to throw out there and adjusting. We'll see come playoff time if they do meet. We'll see come playoff time, man.
I mentioned that on the New York Post sports slot that I had today with Brendan. Like, hey, there's a little bit of gamesmanship that you want in this matchup too, right? Like, you're planning for them. You're going to see them later. You don't necessarily want to show the entire playbook that you got because you got seven. I would expect if this game were to match up, it would be a 7-game series, man. It went 6 last year. I would expect a 7-game series, but you don't want to show too much. But at the same time, even though you don't want to show too much, you still want to show something. You still want to show that, or show, like, get your guys into an offensive groove to give them some sort of confidence. Like, hey, you can hang with these guys. And we're still not even getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, what they showed was that they got their ass kicked. They got their teeth kicked in. And not a single person could check Cade Cunningham. It was an absolute embarrassing effort. And like I said, man, I've seen him one time already make OG look like nothing.
Dude, that was,
and it's now twice. Made him look like nothing. And I said before you got on, there's only 3 people that I seen do that this year and watching every single Knick game. It was Giannis,
yep.
It was Franz, and it was Cade. Our best defender was toyed with tonight by Cade Cunningham. He's that brilliant, bro. He was that great. That's what you got to give credit where credit is due. He was phenomenal tonight. It was another one of those MSG master classes at the Knicks' expense. And all you could do is tip your cap, man. Cade was phenomenal tonight. So great job by Cade. Shout out to, did I get JFK to God again? $10 super chat says, I've never seen a team neglect their big man so often. 1 out of 2 in the first half. They played to none of his strengths. Him and Brunson need to build chemistry ASAP, or this run is a waste. No cat, no rings. No cat, no rings, man. But Al, I said this. I said every time I defend the guy, I come to his defense like a defense lawyer. He lets me down with the unlocked boneheaded plays. How about the play? He's cooking in the third quarter. Then they get a steal, and now he's running and gunning and thinks he's magic. With the alley-oop to OG, I said, oh, my God, here we go.
How about the behind-the-back dribbling, man? I'm like, all right, man. This, like, how many times do we have to go through it against this team? This is probably the best defensive team you're going to face. This is not the game to be experimenting. This is the game to just keep it simple to what you can do. All right? This isn't the Charlotte Hornets. This isn't the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
You cannot do this against
Not
Detroit.
against this team. Not against this team, bro. You have every possession is worth. You have to lock in every single possession. You can't waste them because they run them up on you quick.
They take advantage real quick.
Real quick,
man. And I would like even with the one where he got called for hooking, I'm like, all right, man. I could let that slide.
I hate it.
Yeah, that was whack. I was like, all right, man. I actually like that. I was like, yeah, man, get physical. You throw your weight around, make a move.
So shout out Smooth Guitar. He says, Cat guarantees his rings. How about we ship him out for some role plays with size and hunger? Size and hunger don't put points on the board, my guy. Size and hunger alone is not going to get you past this team. You have to figure out how to score and defend. Yes, you got to defend, but you also got to put up points. They put up 126 on you.
If you look at what the Pistons did tonight, the entire team was very efficient, CP. They were very efficient.
Again. We threw the last game in the garbage. What are we going to do with this one? You can't keep throwing them to the garbage, my man.
Nope. And they shot. Look, another weakness of the Knicks comes popping up, man. The 3-point defense. Pistons shot 43% from downtown. Knicks shot 23%. You got to figure out something with the perimeter, man. This is 2 years in a row, and I feel like it's even worse this season than it was last year guarding the 3.
Yeah, but
this
bro,
is just insane.
The thing is, if you're playing them to their numbers and you're trying to stop Cade. Like,
you're not going to stop Cade.
Javonte Green. Like, am I supposed to care that Javonte Green is shooting threes? The guy couldn't hit the broadside of a barn before he got to Detroit. He is a guy I wanted to see on the Knicks, by the way. I was looking for that guy all last year. But, I mean, are we supposed to really respect that guy?
It doesn't matter who you're supposed to be respecting on the other side, CP. This team just can't. Every single team this year looks like the prime Golden State Warriors when it comes to allowing them to shoot from downtown. We're giving these guys practice shot threes. It doesn't matter at this
Duncan
point.
Robinson is different. Duncan Robinson, you definitely gotta check. That's why they brought him in. You gotta find Duncan Robinson, and that I thought that was what the third quarter. He had a couple of transition threes. They couldn't find him. That's one of their weaknesses, right? That's the transition defense.
Well, Karis LeVert, I mean, he's a microwave. He can get going too. He can get busy. Cade can put up shots. I mean, most of this became between Duncan Robinson, Cade, and Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
But look, they have Kevin Huerter on the bench too, who they haven't really integrated yet.
He's got him parked on the bench. They don't even need him right now. He's just chilling, man, collecting checks.
But it doesn't matter who we play, CP. Just go back through any team that we've played. It is constantly the same thing. We make the worst guys look like the best three-point shooting team. Even when we go back to when we faced the Cavs on Christmas Day, another terrible three-point shooting team, they shot over 40% against us, man.
Yeah,
40. So like, this is a bigger cry for help for this team defensively than it is just like, oh, it's just the Pistons. It's just the Cavs. No, this is something systemic that has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And it's because it's going to, like, I get the game slows down. I get that shots are going to come, like, not as plentiful as during the regular season in the postseason, but you still have to figure it out. I mean, all it takes is just one, CP. All it takes is just one to create that real separation. We're talking about by the margins here once we get to the postseason.
Yeah.
I don't know if this team is just trying to coast and wait and use that energy for the postseason, but you got to start building good habits now. We're talking about the last quarter of the season. It was 27 games tonight. We're now at 26.
Yeah.
This is where you're supposed to be looking fluid, getting ready for April, and looking like there's nothing else really to be working on. This is fine-tuning time. Fine-tuning time. And I can understand OG coming back and be like, all right, hey, man, he's got to get back into rhythm. He missed some time prior to that. But you got to be showing me something, man. Something at least.
Shout out to Billy R. Billy R. on Franchise Channel. Remember, we got a lot of people on the Discord. We're going to get to the calls in a second. Shout out to Billy R. $5 Super Chat says, until Mike Brown realizes that Cat is not a bonus, we will not go anywhere in the playoffs. Cat should have been feasting in the low post tonight. Should have been there. He was parked out on the 3-point line. One comment Stan Van Gundy made was like, there's one possession where, Cat's got they drew Duncan Robinson on Cat and he's running over to the weak side. He's running over to the corner. So, it's just one of those things. Mike Brown has got to get that figured out. Shout out to Lou Rock. He says this was lost on 60% of the players, 40% on the coaching. Okay, not sure how he divvied up the math there, but we'll go with it. Shout out Camilo De La Rosa, Franchise Channel member. Salute to you. If you guys are new in the chat, man, type in hashtag new in the chat. And hey, man, we know the Pistons fans are in here, so, whether you're a Knicks fan, whether you're a Pistons fan, throw your team in the chat. NYKDET. We know the Pistons fans are in here as well, man. So go ahead and get it in. Al, I'm going to swing it over to you. Let's get the Knicksfix in here. Knicksfix, go ahead and unmute your mic. I'm swinging it over to you.
PP Alex, what up, fellas?
Good. How you doing, man?
Yo, this I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I said in October. If this team is gonna end up the 4 seed, the Knicks gonna end up the 4 seed this year, and they're gonna face Detroit in the second round. And if Mike Brown don't make adjustments, they're done. Yo, the starting lineup, you can't play this starting lineup against Detroit. We were running, I think Alex said it, we were running Shamet, JB, Grand Theft, and Hart out there with Cat at one point. Bro, that's a 4-guard lineup against a big Detroit team. You need to run OG or Sochan on Cade for most of the game, if not all, with Mody and Mitch. That's where you need the size. Now, with that lineup, you can pick one of either Cat or JB. Bro, Mody did you guys see Mody come in at the end of the first quarter? Made 2 absolute dimes. And he pulled it for Shamet. He pulls him out the game for Shamet. Like, Shamet, of course, he's giving you buckets, but yo, he's an absolute ragdoll on defense. Him and Mikhail get worked. They get put in the body bag, yo. You need size to beat Detroit. You need Mody and Mitch and OG or Sochan on all times against Cade. The whole night I'm screaming, yo, play Cade, play Sochan, play Sochan. Let's see what he's got. And last that, yo, Alex, I know you said we played him 10 minutes. 8 of those minutes was when Cade was on the bench. It's only a couple of minutes that we played him one-on-one against, and he gave him the business on defense. Cade hit one bucket on a broken three, man. Yo, Mike Brown killed the Knicks. Absolute killed it. And yo, I keep harping on it. I'm a wax poetic. Cat is not Sabonis. Give this man the rock. Let him shoot it, bro. He got the ball out there with 18 seconds ticked away on the shot clock, and he's still looking to pass it to teammates. 3 shots in the first half. Yo, and to the fans who keep saying this, yo, the fans who say, yo, let's get Giannis, as long as Brown is a coach, Brown can't coach, man. He can't, he don't even, he can't. If you go get Giannis on this team, we still lose. We will still lose because he don't know how to adjust. And maybe, the only thing I can hang on to this is, fellas, maybe he don't want to show all his cards, but there's no reason you should have a 4-guard lineup out there when Cade is the engine and nobody's shutting him down.
None. There's no reason why I should be seeing with Alvarado, Brunson, Hart, and Shamit. There's no way you should be seeing that out on the court whatsoever. This is not the team to be like to get off. Well, okay, it's like, all right, guys, let's get some offense going. It's like, no, man, we don't need more offense. We need some defense. We need some stops.
Defense. Yo, there's and to top it off, for a minute he was running cat with them. So that's 5 dudes on the court who can't defend. This has got to be the most disappointing loss I've felt in years. Because, bro, yo, this is showing me that you can't adjust. Like, bro, we don't need to jack up threes. Yeah. We need to get cat in the block. Like, okay. I know what I'm saying. Anyway, fellas, stay up.
Appreciate it, man. We just got to keep rolling because we got a ton of calls tonight, man. We can't be on for 2 hours tonight. But we understand his frustration, man. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. That's why we got to start with the Knicks to kick us off, man. Let's go, Mike from Michigan. Mike, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing, man?
All right, man. You already know they cooking me out here. The Pistons fans cooking me. I'm holding this down.
Did you go to a bar by any chance? Did you make the mistake to go watch this outside? Okay, just your homies.
Nah, I stay at the crib. Just the homies. They know how to find me. They didn't know how to find me after the playoffs last year, though. But that's cool.
Oh yeah.
But but real quick, man. And the last caller, Knicks, he kind of hit the nail on the head a lot. My main. We could talk a lot about the different players, and other people will do that, and there's something to be said for that. As players, they got to be ready to play. It does start with them, and I said this a couple other times calling after other games, I just don't feel like we're getting enough from Mike Brown. This is not a tips thing. This is just about comparing him to him. It's just about, it just doesn't feel like he's hunting matchups. They're not really running sets for real. Defensively, you're watching Cade. I mean, they played one-on-one defense on Cade probably the whole game, and he was cooking. I mean, when a player like that's in rhythm, he's an all-star. You see him get into his rhythm. You have to do something to disrupt him, and that's not just switching another one-on-one defender on him. They're just going to run him off pick and rolls. He'll get downhill, and he's going to score. You got to try to throw someone at him early. That's what the Pistons do to Brunson. Brunson had a nice game, but they make it difficult for him. And I just don't see Mike Brown's ability to make adjustments. And after getting smoked 2 games and then starting to lose this game, he's still doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't get it. I mean, is he trying to hide the ball to the playoffs? Well, I mean, you got to stop messing around.
That's all we could wonder right now,
seeds,
man. That's all we could wonder right now. Because if he goes with the same single coverage in the playoffs against Cade, I would make that his last job as a Knick. Real talk.
Yes, I mean, because he's just gonna smoke us, man. Yeah, I mean, he saw blood, and Cade, he played decent against us in the playoffs last year, but Tibbs mixed it up on him defensively. Obviously, he's grown another year, and he's a little better player. He's a little bit more complete, but you gotta switch it up schematically. So I need more from him in these type of big games, and as we're prepping for the playoffs, I just got to see more, and so. Obviously, it's all about, being right in April, but this is a bad first sign. This is the start of the second half of the season. This was a big test. We all knew it was coming. You had the whole All-Star break to be thinking about this. You got the team coming back full strength, and you show up with that game plan. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. So
right.
they got to get back to the drawing board quick. But I appreciate y'all
that,
taking
man.
the call.
Rate that one in the chat. Mike from Michigan. He's in Pistons country. He's catching L's tonight on behalf of the New York Knicks, man. Mike Brown, if you're listening, we got a Knicks fan. He's getting sacrificed out there, man. Yeah, got to come to his aid, man. He wants some adjustments, and he's right. And we'll see if if he's holding it back for a little bit, or if he's gonna come with something in the playoffs. Should they meet in the playoffs? Let's get the MSG report. STG Nick. Yo, STG, man, it sounded, the game started off, sounded like playoff vibes in there, and then it turned into a funeral, man. What happened, man?
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. I thought the energy was, in there strong early on. Brunson hits the first three of the game. You get some good defense chance. And then, midway through that second quarter, Detroit made their run. And then start of the third, midway through the third, Detroit kind of, separated it. Duncan Robinson hit a few threes, and that's really kind of where the game ballooned open. But, I mean, the first two callers really just hit it on the head. But I think really what I'm looking at going forward is really so just like the rotations, because I just think when it gets down to playoff time, you just can't play Mo and Sochan. It's got to be like one or the other. I kind of feel like,
yeah,
because I think tonight Sochan he played like 9 minutes and Diawara played 8 minutes. Like that's just awkward. I feel like it's either got to be one or the other and shrink this down to 8 or 9 men. Because those guys are kind of similar. The Mo's shown he can shoot the three, so maybe that's where he's a little bit better. But I like Sochan picking up guys 94 feet and getting you really in your jersey. I think that's a little bit something that Mo doesn't do as well. I like that inbound steal that Sochan got. He played blockade at the end of the third. That was a nice play. So I think that's really kind of the big question I'm looking at going forward is kind of what is this rotation going to be like? It's got to shrinking up. It's a lot of just like experimenting. And it's like as we get closer and closer, it's like the experimenting stuff's got to go away, I think.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like he still went with Mo out of respect to his contributions, and Mo had momentum, no pun intended. So he still went with him. It looks like he didn't want to all out bench him. Sochan is new. He, according to the reports, at least on the Amazon side, he wants to get him in here a little bit slowly. So you kind of saw where he got crossed up with the rotations. He played Mo a little bit, but like I said, when I looked at that fourth quarter, I see how badly Hart was struggling. He looked like he was still in Cancun. I said, sit him down. Maybe Saturday he'll get into more of a groove because he's completely out of rhythm, and see if Sochan could give you a little bit of disruption, a little bit of a spark. And he tried that. He did the best job out of Wingstop. He just didn't get that much minutes.
Yeah, no, agree with that for sure. I'll give OG the pass for just this one game because he looked absolutely dead out there. They were just getting cooked left and right.
Destroyed.
Throwing Mikel at him and then throwing OG at him. And it was like after a while, it's like single coverage on Cade right now. It's like outside of Cade, like they don't really have other great creators. Like they have great role players right now, but outside of Cade on this team, like who else is going to really take you off the dribble? But that's really all I wanted to say.
No, you're right. But you know what, Al? I'm going to give credit to guys like, again, you look at the box score and say, all right, Tobias was chucking, but I thought the Detroit did a good job even when they got the ball out of Cade's hands in executing. When you look at the fact that they would have guys like Asar getting to the free throw line. Yeah, Paul Reed got to the free throw line 4 times. Tobias, 4 free throw attempts. Javonte Green, 5 free throw attempts. So they got 20 attempts out of those guys to the Knicks 28. You had some good execution from Detroit. Like there was one where I think it was what's this guy's name? Tolu Smith. There's a scramble ball, a 50-50 ball that Detroit picks up. He sets a good back screen down low on Mitchell Robinson, and that freed up a ball. I think either Tobias or Cade got to, was it Asar Thompson or one of those guys, for easy lay-in. Like, they do a good job executing across the board. So, yes, you can say that, Cade, there's not that many shot creators outside of Cade, but I give them credit because, as Koo said, their half-court offensive execution is much better, and you can see it.
I think the bigger thing for this Pistons team, CP, was that they got the hockey assist. Like, these guys were like, if it wasn't Cade was creating an advantage for his team, and then somebody else was finding that extra pass, whether it be Tobias, whether it be Asar, somebody else was just finding somebody else open. How many times do we have to see Paul Reed or another center in the dunker spot getting an easy look?
Right.
And that's just because you're focusing on Cade, you're focusing on somebody else. They're causing chaos other areas, and when you're doing that, somebody's wide open underneath for an easy layup, man. Even Tobias got some good looks like that too. Underneath. That's right. And so this Pistons team just understands who they are. They understand their identity. That's the thing the Knicks haven't understood yet.
Yeah.
What's the Knicks' identity? Like, outside of just trying to be a high-powered offensive team, who is their identity? And it goes back from weaning in and out of being a team that can share the rock, that can't share the rock, and like trying to have guys be having multiple initiators to like then limiting it just to Jalen Brunson. Like it's too much of back and forth, man. And it's not consistent enough on a night-to-night basis. And when you see it against the Pistons, and the Pistons are able to throw out a defense that says, you know what, we're going to force you. And this is what's crazy, CP. This is what's absolutely crazy. They force the Knicks where they have to make Jalen Brunson the sole creator, right? They force it where he's the sole initiator. And even when they do that, they still not only force for him to be the sole initiator, but they make life difficult for him to be a playmaker. That is crazy defense. That is and that's not. It's not like anything like magical. It's not anything like out of this world. But they understood how to like make everybody else ineffective, because whether it's Asar, whether it's when Duran returns, whoever, they're like, we're going to put so much pressure on if Bridges bringing the ball up, Hart's bringing the ball up, that you have to go back to Brunson. And then once you go back to Brunson, we're going to double team him, we're going to triple team him, and we're going to make somebody else try to beat us. And that's what they've been doing every single time.
But let's get to the key stats of the night, man. Detroit, almost a 50-40-90 night, man. 52% from the field. Knicks shoot 47% from the field. But here was a difference. Similar to the second game, Detroit Pistons 43% from downtown to 23% for the Knicks. Knicks bricking once again from downtown. Detroit, 85% for the charity stripe. They were better. The Knicks, to a man. Yeah, you could talk about Mitch. He missed a couple, but other guys missed as well. You shoot 75% from the charity stripe. They missed 7 free throws tonight. You just got to be a lot cleaner against this team. This was a big one for me. No Stewart, no Duran, no problem for the Detroit Pistons on the rebounding side of the ball. They beat the Knicks 44-38. Both teams had 11 offensive rebounds, but the Pistons edged out the Knicks on the defensive rebounding side by 6. Pistons 30 assists on 48 made field goals to 24 for the Knicks, so they got outclassed there. And then the turnovers, while the turnovers were much better tonight in terms of limiting the damage, I still thought the turnovers were untimely, especially when Detroit was starting to build their lead and when the Knicks were trying to claw back into the game. So even though they only turned it over 12 times and led to 10 Detroit points, I thought they came at ill-advised times for the Knicks and still buried them. 15 turnovers for the Pistons led to 12 Knicks points. A fast break battle, 18-16. Detroit wins that. Points in the paint, Alex, as you said, 58-56. Detroit won that. Largest lead of the night, 19 for the Pistons, 7 for the Knicks, and the Detroit Pistons led this game by 86% of the game, finishing the sweep of the New York Knicks.
How many shots do you think Karl-Anthony Towns took in the first half, CP?
I think 2.
3.
3. There you go.
That's going to be my key stat of the night.
Yeah.
Because 3 shots for your all-star in the first half, not even talking quarter, first half, you didn't get him going. And he only got 1 attempt from downtown. 1. You brought him in here to space the floor to make things easier. We're not getting that. All right? If he's not going to help space the floor, you're going to have the Pistons just blocking the paint. And when you do that, you just make it that much tougher, man. And that's why when you look at it, even though they barely won the points in the paint battle, you're just not going to get a lot of opportunities, man. You're just not going to get a lot of opportunities from this team. And on top of that, you also get that 3-point percentage. It's not great because why? One of our best 3-point shooting, one of our best 3-point shooters, who we saw in the shooting stars competition, man, shoot logo threes. It's not getting shots, not getting enough shots from downtown. So, to me, Get him more involved. Like I said, I understand the flaws. You gotta get him involved, man. Outside of that, the rebounding battle was like the next thing for me, man. This is a possession game, especially against this team. You have to win on the glass. If you don't win it on the glass against the Pistons, you're not going to win the game. Simple and plain.
Yeah, yep. For me, that was it in terms of my key stat. That was the rebounding. With no Stewart and no Duren, and you have Hart, you have Mitch, and you have Karl Anthony Towns. I thought this was one what the Knicks had to win. They had to win it. And they didn't. But give credit to Detroit, especially getting after it on the hustle side of the house. They did just that and made it tough for the Knicks tonight. Paul Reed stepped up. He's getting the best of Mitch now. The other guy, Tolu, I mean, those are just good effort by those guys. And them winning the rebounding battle, to me, was a disappointment for the Knicks. And that was my key stat. Definitely my key stat. So, key stats of the night, man, brought to you guys by Car Gurus. Listen, man, buying a car is a big decision. You don't want to feel rushed, confused, or second-guessing yourself, especially with prices being what they are right now. That's why I mess with Car Gurus. What I love is how simple they make the whole process. With Car Gurus Discover, you can skip all those annoying filters and just search the way you actually think. You can tell what you want, maybe good gas mileage for road trips, extra trunk space for the family, or something comfortable for that daily commute, and it shows you real shoppable listings that actually match. That's a game changer. And if you're at the dealership, the Car Gurus app has this feature called Dealership Mode. It's basically a cheat code. You can compare the car right in front of you to similar options, check deal ratings, see price history, and even estimate your final cost all on the spot. That's confidence right there. With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has one of the biggest selections out there, so you know you're seeing real options and real deals. No wonder it's the #1 most visited car shopping site. So whether you're buying or selling, don't guess. Make your big deal the best deal. Go to cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com. And shout out to Car Gurus for sponsoring today's show. Back to the Discord. Let's get back to the fans. King Mott, go ahead and unmute your mic. King Mott, how you feeling?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you feel, bro?
Yeah, I'm frustrated like everybody else.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the coach, I'm not sure what he's seeing on the floor. Like everybody's been saying, for Towns not to get only 3 shots in the first half is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. Again, who has the ball most in his hand? Like, I love Brunson, but
yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't get Cat more involved. I think early on he has to try to look for him more often and just try to see if you can play through him a little bit more and get him in better position.
He don't trust him, man. Let's just call it what it is. He don't trust him. And at times you can't blame Cap in Jalen Brunson for that. He's seen the Asar matchup. He got cooked in the second game against Asar. He wanted to set the tone for the team, and that was fine. But, like, you never, ever looked for him after that. But on top of that, the second quarter is where Towns has to be featured. Not Jose Alvarado. It has to be Karl Anthony Towns. That is why they got stuck in the mud.
But whose fault is that? Is
It's
that
the coach.
Whose fault is that?
It's the coach.
Why is it every game? It's 50-plus games in right now, and it's the same thing every game. Why hasn't this changed in 50-plus games already? We're going to the last, 20-something games of the season, and it's the same thing every game. You paying somebody $53 million, whatever he's making, and he's taking 3 shots in the first half. He comes out in the third quarter, he starts cooking, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he doesn't get the ball anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then OG, I mean, we got to give OG a little bit of a break tonight, but 0 rebounds, 0 assists. How is he a +1 rating? He should have been a -30. He was getting destroyed. By Cade all night, cooking him, making it easy, fading, hitting threes on him, going to the basket. You saw when he went to the basket on Mikal Bridges? I almost thought Mikal exploded. He hit him, like literally almost flew him through the hoop. I'm like, Mikal, can you get your weight up, bro? You ain't a $180. Like, come on, man, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness, man.
I'm with this game tonight, man. Yo, Mike Brown has to make serious changes before this playoffs, or like the caller said earlier, if we match up against this team in the second round or the conference, we're gonna get cooked. Like I just don't get it, man. Like some other callers said, they got Cade is amazing, right? But I'm looking at the rest of their team. Like, how you let Paul Reed was on the Sixers a couple of years ago. When he came into the game, I loved it. I'm like, yo, we about to go.
He was one of the guys when Embiid went to the bench. You wanted Paul Reed in the game. Now, not so much. Not so much. I got one more point.
Go ahead. When I watch the Sixers, right? I see Maxey and Embiid. They play an amazing two-man game. Every play, they do a pick. Maxey rolls back. He comes back, sets another pick. How come Towns and Brunson can't play like that? Every play, they set a screen. Maxey gets easy threes. Cat and Brunson, they don't get no easy plays together. I don't understand it. Like, Cap, if you don't trust this guy, you need to tell them to get this guy off the team or something. You guys going to the All-Star game. You guys are smiling with each other. What the hell are y'all talking about? Like, I'm super tight tonight, man, because like you guys said, I've been watching all the shows leading up. I ain't had the Knicks in a week, losing my mind trying to find shit on Netflix to watch. I come and watch this tonight, and they getting cooked. I'm so tight right now. Because now we're going to hear all of this stuff on all the sports radio. We can't beat the Pistons. Yeah. The Pistons got our number. I got to hear Stephen A. Smith talking crap. I got to listen to the fan. They going to be talking crap about the Knicks tomorrow. Yeah. So, like, you got to come out good on Saturday.
I don't know why my thing is not.
Yeah. Who's this?
We got to
get Maly. Come on, man. Go ahead, man. King Mott, finish your point, man. Everybody throw some fives in the chat for King Mott, man. He's cooking right now. Go ahead, man.
I'm just frustrated, man. We better come out Saturday and play good against the Rockets, man.
Yeah. Well, let's see if they get in the groove, man. Hang tight, man. Hang in there, bro. Throw some fives in the chat for King Mott, man. He's tight tonight. He's cooking tonight. Throw some fives in the chat for King Mott, man. Absolutely cooking tonight, man. Cooking. Couldn't agree more with every single take that he had. It's the questions that I continue to have, and his team at 35-21, they're good, but they ain't good enough right now to beat this team. That's just the reality. And until those two guys can create advantages,
wild.
Not my turn, your turn, bro. You're not that. This is not last year. We can't go off for the last shot against Asar in Game 6, Game 5, whatever it was. We can't go off of that, bro. Game 6, we can't go off of that, bro.
But CP, this is you spoke about it after the second drubbing. No, first drubbing after the Pistons.
Yeah.
When are we going to get the two-man game? It doesn't matter who it's been. It does not matter who it has been. We do not have a two-man game at all for Brunson and Cat. We didn't have one for Brunson and Randall. It just seems like, where's the coexistence?
2 years in. Hey, what I say in FAN? He's your second guy, man. Second guy. I don't think they like when I say that, but this is a second guy. I'm going to say it again. This is his second guy.
Like, your best pick and roll player can't be your boy Josh. And look, I like that hard set screens and rolls and does all those things, but we got one of the most prolific shooting big men on the team, and we're not utilizing him as such.
Well, if it's not that, and that's why I told you when you and CK were on the second game, I said if that is just if it's just beyond repair for this season, which would be a really unfortunate, you got to try to win that McCallum Duncan Robinson matchup. You got to try that, bro. Where else you can't just rely on Cap. You see the differences between Cade. Cade's doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Passing, scoring, defending. That's not Cap's game, unfortunately, at a high level. Cade's doing all of that at an all-star level. Cap's scoring at an all-star level. But everything else is a little bit below. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I would say
that win that matchup.
I would say I go back to once again what I just said earlier. The thing that this Pistons team has done well is that they just they mute the multiple initiator thing. I know Mike Brown likes having McCall bring it up, Hart bring it up, but they mute it. They put so much pressure on those guys that it goes back to Brunson, because Brunson is the only one with the complete handle on this team outside of Kolek, but Kolek is still not going to be the guy to get everything.
He's not ready for this year. He can't handle this.
But for Brunson, he is the only guy that can do that. And then once they put it back into Brunson's hands, it's like, all right, Now we got what we want, double, triple. Make Brunson work 10 times hard. Because like those guys are not guys that will create in the half court. You have to set up the screens for Mikal Bridges to go get. He has to do curls. He has to do all those things. He has to be working off ball, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing. And so for him to win that Duncan Robinson matchup, he's not going to break it down. When I see Mikal Bridges break somebody down from the perimeter and get to the cup, then I'll start believing it.
No, I'm not. But I'm not saying from a breaking down standpoint. I'm saying, as you said, setting screens for him, getting him those mid-range shots, getting him downhill by setting screens. Because if you're going to have a Sar and Ron Holland, those are probably the two right now, two of the top 10 best wing defenders tandems. Probably the best wing tandem that you have right now defensively. If you're going to have those guys out there in big spots, and Cade plays that defense at a high level, like, you got to try to exploit something. If Carl can't go out there and exploit a Paul Reed matchup, or he can't shoot the three over Stewart and Duren, and you're going to continue to have him out there as a floor spacer on the three, then you got to use that space on the inside to find Mikal. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, man. I totally get it. And like, look, that's why you brought Mikal in here, is to be that third offensive initiator. And you know, this is on Mike Brown, man. This is the layer. This is where you got to add layers and layers to the offense. And I can understand that you say, hey, Alex, look, it takes time. Year one, you try to build the foundation. Then year two, you can really add even more wrinkles to that offense. But I don't think it's that hard to say, hey, why don't we set an off-ball screen where it's Cat setting the screen for Bridges coming off as a curl. You give the option. Now you have two good scorers working together, where you can either say, hey, you're either going to get Mikal an open look for a mid-range, and then either Cat can pick and pop or pick and roll, and you get a good look, as we saw for Paul Reed tonight, underneath the basket. Something like that, man, where you're just getting guys working off of one each other, and it just feels like it's way too vanilla at this point, where it's like, all right, someone set the screen for Brunson, and you're going to roll, and then Brunson's going to find you. There's nothing outside of that.
Or maybe with that second unit, maybe it's Mikal and Cat running two-man. Because the Jose thing, I don't know, man. Maybe it's those two guys.
But that's why they brought Jose in here, CP, is because they needed a guy who they can trust with the rock.
Sort of, I just don't see him.
Well, that was the whole thing, right? They said we need another guy who can bring the ball up.
Yeah, that's why he went out there. But where I see Jose's strength is more on the energy side and the defensive side. Offensively, what he gives you, to me, is more of a plus. Like, you saw the way he was shooting the three. Forget that Philadelphia game. That's an aberration. Tonight was more like, it's a little bit dicey. And I'm not convinced that he's the guy that's just going to consistently get you downhill and play make. I'm not looking at Jose as a playmaking point guard. That's Tyler. I'm looking at Jose to take on Jenkins, match the rugged with the rugged, match the energy with the energy, and try to force Detroit into bad decisions because they can do that. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he did that in that first half. But it got dicey when Mike Brown went a little bit too long with him, because part of that second quarter run, in their inability to get Cat going, they didn't, to me, have effective point guard play. And to me, that was a little bit on Jose. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think he's really that type of point guard.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. I agree with that completely. But what I'm saying is that they didn't feel comfortable. They haven't felt comfortable enough giving Mikal that full reign to be that guy, to lead the second unit, be your initiator, and be the engine to the offense. And so why they brought in Jose Alvarado is because they said, hey, we need somebody. They thought Cole could be like that. Somebody that can bring the basketball up and get them into their set. Not necessarily saying Jose will be the offensive engine, but they just need somebody to bring the ball up. This is where I find this is the concerning aspect. It's like, okay, so you got Mikal in here, and if he can't do that with the second unit, or you don't believe for him to do that with the second unit, I just don't see that happening. Now, this could be, hey, Mike Brown saying, you know what, we're going to hide this, keep this close to our vest, and we'll try that. But if you want to go to the video I sent you from SNY, Carl Anthony Towns says he believes regular season games against opponents mean a lot. before you have to place him in the playoffs. So if you want to go to that, let's see what he has to say about that.
We're going to get to the sound bites in another segment. Just a second here. Let me run through some more super chats that we got. Shout out to Cog on Mott, $10 super chat. Says, Pistons fan here, in peace. Yeah, they be talking a lot real spicy, man. Says, just want to show some love for the show. Found you guys during the playoffs and always felt jealous that the Pistons don't have a KFTV. Y'all strong and objective commentator. Salute, man. Appreciate that. Hey, man, if you caught the episode with Koo Cahill, I think Koo's is probably the best Pistons commentator out there. Locked on Pistons. We'll give him a shout out. I thought he does a great job over there. He's been a frequent guest on this show for 2 years now, and I'm sure should these teams meet again that we'll have Koo on here fairly regularly. So that's shout out to Koo. Check him out. Shout out to Junior Karoma, $5 super chat, says salute CP and Alex. I'm stunned because it's like, how on earth are they beating us like this? Like, WTF. Shout out to him, man. Terry Cal, too, franchise channel member, $5 super chat, says losing a hard-fought game is one thing, but getting punked is another. I don't like our mindset against his team. Mr. Brown, we need answers. Shout out to Terry Cal. Freeway Hustle, 21, franchise channel member, $5 super chat, says I'm disappointed. This team is not in sync offensively. Locker room chemistry is good, but they play like they hate each other. For sure. Salute to Freeway Hustle. Make sure I didn't miss any more. Shout out to Ronald Louis Dehan. Yeah, shout out to Ronald Lewis Dehan, 5136, $20 super chat. Happy 54th birthday, Gardy E, the #1 Knicks fan TV dude in Palm Beach, South Florida, man. Shout out to Gardy E. Ron, have you guys come to the Miami meetups? Shout out to Ronald E. Shout out to Gardy E. Everybody in the chat, wish Gardy E a happy 45th birthday, and we appreciate him for being a part of it, part of the family here, and appreciate the support. And shout out to our South Florida Knicks fan, First Lady of Sports, Stephen Gomez, all our good people down there. Shout out to my guy, Jay, Miami Jay. You got to check out his icy shop down in South Beach. Let me make sure I got the name correct, Jay, because I know Jay's probably watching either right now in the morning. Hang on, Jay. Hang on. What's the Icy King? Shout out to Jay. Yeah, make sure y'all check out check out the Icy King down there in South Beach, man. Shout out to my guy Jay. UDK Sports Talk 7. $20 super chat says, I was at the game. They generated a lot of clean looks. So they just didn't cash him in. There's no answer for Cade. Knicks need to give him the Bron treatment. Let him do him. Cut off everyone else. It's all drive and spray. What do you think about that Al?
Let's see.
So let Cade do Cade. Cut everybody else off.
You're not going to stop Cade. I mean, there's so many ways. It's like, if you're going to do that, then you're putting him back at single coverage. Do you want Cade in single coverage? I mean, we just saw what happened tonight. So you got to try to slow him down somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is always like the chicken or the egg theory, right? It's, do you just let Cade do what he does and try to stop everybody else? Or do you try to slow down Cade because he is the offensive engine? He will get everybody into their spots and then force everybody else to hit their shots. I'd probably go with the latter because we've now seen what Cade looks like in single coverage.
Yeah.
And he's just very comfortable. The thing about Cade is that he doesn't look overpowering, but he is overpowering. He's just very strong. He's deceptively strong. So I would say you got to make sure that he works twice as hard as they do to Brunson, man. Make him work twice as hard and force other guys to go be your creators.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Shout out there, KP Go franchise channel member. I need a drink, man. I'm drinking water. It's just not doing the trick right now. Tonight was one of those nights I needed a glass or something, man. Oh.
I mean, technically, CP, in 10 minutes, it will be Friday.
It will be Friday. Tonight was I need a drink, man. $10 super chat for their KP Go says, I understand it now. Cat and Brunson just don't work together. It's doable against the teams who aren't as big and physical, but as a whole, offensively and defensively, it's not a match. Hey, I don't know, man. Unfortunately, it's now a year and a half, a full season and a half. It's just my turn, your turn. Did we see it? Stevie Wonder could see it. There just doesn't really seem to be an advantage to be unlocked there. And so there it is. All right, let's get to some sound bites, and then we'll finish up with some calls. Let's hear from the captain, man. Let's hear from the captain and some of the gang here. Let's load up some of the sound bites here. Okay, well, this was a quote from Ian Begley, Al. This was a quote from Ian Begley. He says, shout out to our guy, Ian, SNY Insider. Make sure you follow him. Does the best work on the Knicks beat. Says, regarding Cade Cunningham, Mike Brown said, Knicks didn't force him to the sideline, let him go get to the middle of the floor too often. Remember that, they wanted to run more icing on the pick and roll, but that could be just Cade just being a more savvy point guard, understanding what they wanted to do, and him making his adjustments. One of the Knicks' defensive adjustments during pre-All-Star break during the winning streak, forcing the ball to the sideline. Cunningham seemed to get anywhere he wanted tonight. Well, that's because he's smarter, he's stronger, and he's better than ever. Superstars, you're not going to do that with the superstars. You know what I'm saying now? You're just not going to be able to do that all the time, bro.
Right. I mean, all he has to do is even if you put somebody who's trying to force him to the sideline, you know what you could do? Pass it to the middle, get right back to the middle, and start it all over. It's like
or a simple crossover, gets past Sochan, gets past Mitch, and yams it. And who was the last line of defense who was looking at the poster instead of attempting to stop the poster with Karl-Anthony Towns? Brutal. I mean, that was a Kobe-esque. That's what I'm saying, man. That was like some Kobe stuff right there. Kobe.
Dude, it was like in slow motion too, that dunk. I was like, I was like, damn. Like, I didn't think he was going to finish with a dunk, but whew.
Lefty. He's looking like me out there. Lefty.
You dunking now? You back to dunking?
Yeah, I'm the Fisher.
We're going to see that in the next Twitter Day tournament. See me with the dunk.
I'm dunking on the Fisher Price hoop I got downstairs, man. I'm back to dunking on that. So
you might be dunking your Oreos. That's probably the most dunk you'll be doing right now.
That's right. Let's see. Okay, let's get to the sound bites in the locker room. A dejected Knicks group. See how they bounce back Saturday. Yeah, well, Cade had one. KD want to get him some. So let's see how they handle that on Saturday. But let's hear from the rest of the Knicks locker room. Make sure that the locker room volume with SNY is not all that great. But let's see what we can get tonight. Here we go. Here's Captain Clutch. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, they played great against us. And, I think today was obviously not as bad as the first two. But I mean, just not up to our standards. 3 games.
His Cap said today was not as bad as the first two.
Wow, the bar is low.
Oh man, when Cap has no answers, he usually has we didn't play up to our standards. We got to be better. I got to hold myself accountable. When Cap threw in the towel, that's how you know it's bad, man. Cap was demoralized. You saw it. You kind of saw it on that Karl-Anthony Towns play. All right, here's another one from the Knicks locker room. He's asked about the history of the Knicks and the Pistons. Here we go.
Jalen, you guys went 1-3 against the Pistons last year, but beat them in the playoffs of the first round. You guys go 0-3 against them this year. The series is over. Does the experience of winning against them in the playoffs, even though you lost to the regular season, does that help here, or what do you think?
It's a new year.
Jalen,
I didn't really like that question. That sounded like Wind Splash. I mean, what do you expect Cap to say? Yeah, we beat him in the playoffs last year. We should figure out. I mean, yeah, I didn't really like that question. I'm not really sure the answer you were looking for. You know what I'm saying now? Not to criticize the guy. I didn't really like that question, man. It wasn't a good question. It wasn't a good question. After you get smoked 3 times in a row. Are you still leaning on last year's playoff success? That wasn't a good question.
Yeah, that's typically how we run things around here. I remember what I did last year.
Yeah,
and I don't really care what's happening this year.
That shot on a SAR, I'm still remembering that, and we'll figure out the game plan from that one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do everything I did last year in the game for all the games this year. So expect me to do the same crossover 3 to win. All right.
We kind of needed that one back. We kind of needed that one. That wasn't a good question. That's all right. everybody wasn't on their game tonight. Okay, let's get to the next one. Here's Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson on slowing down Cade Cunningham or not, rather. Here we go.
With Cade, was the scheme being executed, and was he just getting wherever he wanted to go, or was it not an execution?
I mean, Cade's a great player, and obviously we scout against him, and he's obviously our priority. But great players have big games, and then he's going to slow them down fast enough, or even at all.
Yeah, well, damn right there. Didn't slow him down at all. There's Jalen Brunson. Okay. Here is the man of the hour, the big bodega, Karl Anthony Towns. There we go.
Beat us fair and square every time. Tonight, obviously, it's
I hate these S&Y microphones, man. Let me try this again, man. And my app's not really working tonight, so.
In the first two, but it wasn't. Beat us fair and square every time. Tonight, obviously, it's the better showing than the first two, but it wasn't. There's no moral victories, nor was it what New York wants to see. But, we got a lot of film, and we're seeing each other in the playoffs. We got to be ready.
All right, so Cat took the Brunson approach. He said, wasn't as bad as the first two.
Moral victories at this point.
I thought that was more of a fan take. I'm surprised these guys went that way. But hey, all right. That's okay. Justifies my take sometimes. Here we go. Karl Anthony Towns on okay, this is what you were talking about. Towns on the regular season preparation for the postseason. Here we go.
How important is regular season, in your opinion, against a team that you might see in the playoffs? Last year, obviously, you guys went 1-3 against the Pistons, but beat them in the first round. What do you make of that?
Well, it means a lot. I think it does. It builds a confidence going into that playoff series, and also you have great film to see what did work against our team and against their team. And, I think that any game is important in the regular season. I know you're talking about seeing them in the playoffs, but you got to get there first. And for standings, you always want to win. You want to make sure you give yourselves the best chance to control your destiny.
How important is?
Well, he did say, you want to give yourself the best chance to control your destiny. Well, one thing that's probably not in the Knicks' destiny this year, Al, is the number 1 seed. Looks like that's going to go through Detroit. So, like I said, man, if you want the East, you're going to have to go through there in a 7-game bloodbath. We'll see if they're up for the challenge, if they get there, because Jaylen Brown is out there. You got Cleveland running and gunning now. They got a new point guard tandem, new guard tandem, so it'll be the 3-team race. I don't see anybody else really, being in this conversation. I'm not really, a Philly believer. So, but it's going to be a 3-team race here. It's going to be a 3-team race, and it's all going through Detroit. Okay, we got JB Bickerstaff, ladies and gentlemen. JB Bickerstaff on this game. Here we go.
Is this just a good matchup? Are your guys just abnormally prepared because of what happened last season? How would you attribute this?
Just playing good basketball. This isn't us, versus the Knicks thing. We show up and are different. Our guys have done a great job all year of approaching each game the same way. We've had a couple of those NBA games where, schedule or whatever it may have been just bit us. But for the majority of our games, we've played the same way with the same temperament, the same edge, defended the same, moved the ball the same, all those things. So this is just basketball for us. It's got nothing to do with the opponent. It just speaks to the depth and the character. Because of, the playoffs, the situation and all that, people want to make a bigger deal out of this than it is. But that's not our approach. You know what I mean? Like, our approach is to hold ourselves to a standard every single night. We've talked about it since the beginning of the year. We believe in our depth.
All right, that was JB Bickerstaff. I believe half of it. I'm sure they still,
I'm about to say.
Yeah, they still rocking with a chip on their shoulder. But I also believe, and you just look at it in the standings, you watch their games. Look how they manhandled it. They swept Denver home and home. Look how they handled their West Coast trip. They're for real, man. They can make the case to be the best team in the league, period. And they probably are. Real talk.
I agree with what JB says, that they show up playing the same way every single night. They don't change. That's their identity. They know who they are as a basketball team. It does not waver. The one thing you will not get me on is that you do not think about the playoffs and how this team went out in the playoffs. That there is certainly an edge. The drubbing they've been giving the Knicks, the work they've been giving the Knicks, is one that says, we remember, we're coming for you. We're going to make it known. And they're you were gonna tell me if these two teams don't meet, if these teams meet up in the postseason, that they're not going to play with a certain edge. Come on now, man. They've been playing with a certain edge throughout the regular season. I don't buy that. It's been bulletin board material since the Knicks took them out last season.
Yeah,
I just don't believe that by JB Bickerstaff. I'm sure he's trying to downplay it and not make too much of it, but that scar is certainly there.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that matchup with OKC. Hopefully, I don't know what SGA's timetable is, but they still got to see OKC twice. So do the Knicks. That's going to be box office, man. Cade versus SGA, that matchup, two of the best teams in the league. Hopefully, SGA is healthy for that, for at least one of those. I'd like to see how they then stack up against that team. But they look like a team that can win the championship legitimately, and they should be one of the favorites. They're that great, man. They are that great. So give credit. And speaking of Cade, here he was in the MSG locker room, visitor locker room, speaking on what it means to beat the Knicks and sweep them and beat their ass in 3 games. Here we go.
I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot to beat or to sweep a team that's as good as them, more than anything. You know, they play high level basketball. So to beat them, and then obviously, you know, the 1-2 and trying to like win that tiebreaker and stuff, that means something. So, you know, just competing against the Eastern teams like that and beating a good team means a lot.
All right. So he says, gave the Knicks a little bit of respect there. Said, beating a good team, winning the tiebreaker. It all adds up. All right. So those were our sound bites of the night. Brought to you guys by Mando, man. Yeah, it's only right that we shout out to another one of our sponsors of the night, and that is Shop Mando. Why, Al? Because the Knicks stunk up the joint. So when you think about stinking up the joint, you think about Mando whole body deodorant. That's right, Alex. Not just for your underarms. For the Knicks case, they need a whole pack of Mando. Send them to the locker room and have them throw it up all over, man. Whole body deodorant. You could use it on the underarms, your feet, the troubled areas. And some of the best parts about Mando, number one, baking soda free, and so clean quality ingredients, and then also 72 hours of odor control, Alex. 72 hours of odor control with Mando products, and then they have the deodorant in different forms, so you can get the solid stick, you can get the spray, you can get the cream, whatever you're into. They also have wipes, they have soap. They have a whole ton of products, man. So, fellas, don't be out there caught lacking. The weather's going to change soon. You're going to be outside. If you're going to be outside, make sure you're coming with some clean hygiene. And our guys at Shop Mando will get you taken care of, man. Doctor developed, reduces chafing, and you got some cologne quality scents from the Clover Woods to the Cedar Grove to the Pro Sport. Shout out to Mando. Use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Okay. Oh, we got another super chat in here from our guy, Jerome Wise, 4029. Shout out to Jerome, $5 super chat. Says, salute CP and Alex Luger. Pistons are in the Knicks' heads. We are playing scared. SMH, not sure what else we can do other than defense. SMH. Yeah, you got to man up, meet the challenge, man. And feed the cat. You got to live with the mistakes, man. Hella high water, you got to live with the mistakes. So that's that. We're going to have Kelly Iko, who covers the NBA on a national scale for Yahoo Sports. Kelly Iko will join us at 12:30 on tomorrow's Lunchtime Live. We'll also talk Knicks versus Rockets. Katie and the boys coming into town. And then, Knicks will be taking on the Rockets on Saturday. Then a back-to-back against the Bulls on Sunday. So, the schedule don't stop as they get out of this all-star break. They got to get right back to work. Okay, speaking of which, we'll wrap up on the phones, man. King Matthews on the Discord. King Matthews, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, fellas, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to make it rapid fire, man.
Yeah.
Look. Cat, man. Gotta give him the ball, but
Yeah.
he's the type of player to get 20 points and give up 30 points. I don't know what we're gonna do. Mike Brown, he gotta wake up. But last thing before I go, 5 picks. Talk about it. Mikal Bridges dunked on Kate Cunningham last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now for some reason, when he goes to the rim, doing a fadeaway. Why are you doing that? And OG Anunoby, cut him some slack. He just came back from injury, but I think a game like Sochan, we just got him 9 minutes. He was the best one to guard Cade. And the fact he only played 9 minutes, Diarra only played 8 minutes. Type of game you gotta put like all bigs in, put all the wings to lock him up. We didn't do that. We see like 4 midgets get with Mitch Robinson. Shout out to Mitch Robinson though. He did his thing. But Detroit's for real, man. And for this Knicks team, we got to get that 2nd or 3rd seed. Because if we get the 4th and 5th seed, Detroit's going to be on our heads. Y'all take it easy, man.
Saysuizzy getting on mute your mic. Saysuizzy. Appreciate you, King Matthews.
Rough game.
Rough.
I was hyped to watch this, and I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Quick. My day's ruined. Cat was the main factor to me. I seen they was missing 2 big men, so if he ain't have a dominant game, I said we wasn't winning, and he didn't. He only had 21 points. I think he only took like 2 shots in the first, and Paul Reed's got 18, and I'm like, bro, Paul Reed's is not getting paid 50 mil. Like, you should be dominating. Like, is Paul Reed's in a 2-day contract as the backup? I'm like, come on, man. Like, you got to step up. Like, the Hartenstein and Brunson was a better 2-man game.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I don't understand why we can't. Is either Cat got to do different moves, because I feel like it's just a run and 3, just run to the rim or shoot a 3. And if those is not working, or if he gets fouled and he's crying about it,
where is the pick and roll in rhythm?
Like,
sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just spaz out sometimes, man. I'm sorry, man. I just wild out, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. It's just, I think about these things. I dream about that. Like, what's going on?
Like, the Hartenstein floater, I missed that game. We don't have that with Cat.
You're making it 10 times harder on the guy. He doesn't have the lift anymore. That block by Paul Reed was demoralizing.
That killed me. I said, there's no way this guy is killing us right now. When we played him on the Sixers, Cade was going crazy, and if he could perform that in the playoffs, it's going to be scary. Because when we played him, he had decent games, but he ain't have a game like this.
Nah, he's leveling up. He's on a Kobe level, man. He's leveling up. He's leveling up.
Playoffs, teams are in trouble.
You're not going to beat him.
And I know we living off that. We did it to Boston. Guys with the #1 seed, but it's a different year, different coach. And teams is probably not going to fall for it again. Yeah. They already seen what the Knicks did last year, so they're going to know, like,
the way Cat was playing offensively last year, you could lean on that. The way he's playing this year, that's not going to happen.
And you don't want that to be the case every round. Like,
yeah.
When we get to the finals, if you want to do that, you want to go off, but you had an easy road there, okay.
Yeah.
But to do that every round is not going to happen every year. Like, somebody's going to double team Brunson and make somebody else score.
On the Discord.
The scary part is Pistons have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They was not supposed to be here. So if we match up with them, it's going to be scary. But that's all I got to say.
Appreciate the call, man. Rapid fire, Maly. Let's go. Maly, let's go.
Yo, what's up, CP?
How you doing?
You're doing good, man. It's a frustrating loss tonight, man. I mean, it's just, I think we had no answer. We had no answer for Cade tonight. And I wanted to say, now I kind of understand I forgot the guy you had on the show the other day when we were doing the review with the Pistons. Now I understand what he meant now about showing different coverages.
Yeah.
With Cade, because we weren't really changing our coverage against him. And it got to the point where Cade was getting comfortable in the coverage, and he was just getting to his spots.
Yeah.
And, he was hitting his shots against OG. I did wish, like how Alex mentioned earlier, I wish we got Sochan in the game a little bit earlier, because he at least showed, he was, getting really aggressive with Cade. But I mean, I feel like we have some stuff to figure out. Like Cat, we need him to get involved early in the game. I feel like we got to get him going early because him not getting going until the second half. We can't allow that. That's not gonna win us games. And we just got to figure it out because it's just right now. I don't want it to be like, oh, we wait until the playoffs to start turning it up.
Right.
It's just it shouldn't be like that all the time. And like it's not the end of the world. Yeah, Detroit swept us this season.
Yeah.
But we still have a lot of things we can do, a lot of game plan we can do, and then we'll see what happens in the postseason.
Appreciate the call, man. Maly on the Discord. Carlo from the Philippines. You're up next, Carlo.
Kumusta kayo, CP Alex?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Took my blood pressure today and the diastolic is extremely way up there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one of these days, these Knicks are going to kill me. I got a couple of takes on the bad plays, and this is somewhat in defense of why the players cannot give the rock to Towns. And it's because he asked for the post up way up high, and it's already near the 3-point line, and he cannot establish a good position in the paint in the first place. And just spin and swim around the defender and establish a better position near the paint. He can't even post up Jenkins, so how can they feed the man? So there was this one play that infuriates me. Jenkins ran over Kat's papa and fiance, and he gets comfortable there for a few seconds. And then the next play, Jenkins is guarding Kat, and in my mind, if I'm Kat, I'm running over you. But it resulted into a turnover. So if I'm your teammate, if you're getting blocked by scrubs, I'm not giving you the ball. So, and then secondly, they rely heavily on the spray and three. And Monica McNutt mentioned this very timely, and I'm paraphrasing here. If it's not working on three, just attack the basket and settle for an easy two or a foul. Just match the physicality. And I think if they lose 3 of these next 4, I think they're gonna call another team meeting. But I think win or lose, they really need to call a team meeting every day. So that's all I have to say.
Appreciate the call, man. Let's go to India. Ashwin, let's go.
CP, I'm actually not that tight about this game because the thing is that you kind of expect what's gonna happen, right? Because I have told you many times before, the thing Cat does, he hits a 1 and 1-3, then he goes and to quote CK, he puts up a raggedy heat check deep 3. Then he does all that other stuff. And also when Brunson goes out after the midway of third quarter, whose turn is it to take over? Cat's turn. What does he do after that? Yes, he went on a good run during the first half of the third quarter. But in the second half, it was his turn because Brunson was out. But what did he do? Nothing. And combine that, like when I said, people can keep blaming this guy's defense, that guy's defense. But the most important defensive position is the center position. And, our team always makes runs when we are down, but we can't get the stop. That is because the center position is exploited either directly or indirectly. We can keep blaming everything, but it's always going to happen. And good point guards like Cade or a good superstar, they can easily exploit that. Right. So I don't know what's the recipe is. We can all that, but I'm not tight because there's one hope. See, like Pistons are the best defense. We are like one of the best offense. Right. Our position are just extends. So no matter how hard Pistons play, they.
Did we lose him? All right, might have lost Carlo.
Can't.
Oh. Still there?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes. We got you now. Got you.
Okay. So the last thing is that I'm going to say is that the thing between Pistons and Knicks are the Pistons, no matter how hard they play, they can't bring out more offense than they are capable of. But the thing about defense is that if we try, we can bring out more defense than we are playing at right now. So that's one thing I'm keeping hope for the playoffs. I don't know if you could understand that point or not, but yeah, that's all, CB. I hope we make it ahead. We figure out things before playoff.
Stay up, man. Appreciate the call, man. We had Ashwin from India. We had Carlo from the Philippines. We worldwide with it, man. So salute to those guys for tapping in, man. A worldwide Disappointed group of Knicks fans, man. We have to start the post-All-Star break with Knicks therapy, man. Cliff, shout out Cliff Curval. Cliff, go ahead and then close us out, man. Cliff.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yeah, not well. How you doing?
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, good to go now. Good to go.
Okay, better. Yeah, man, it's hard to follow Carlo and Ashwin, man. That's big shoes to fill. But anyway, yeah, I'll just what I want to ask just a simple question. Like, how do you feel with the Knicks going up against the Pistons as opposed to when OKC is going up against San Antonio? Because if you look at both teams who seem to have each other's number, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing with San Antonio is that they have youth, they have athleticism, they have multiple ways to beat good teams, and the Wemby factor, like that's a huge factor for their defense. In terms of it being dominant at times. He can be a one-man defense at times. The way he's intimidates and defends shots with the Knicks, man. Like number one, their defense is not on that par consistently. And then you have sort of the offensive woes where their offensive weaknesses get exposed against better teams.
Yeah, and it's just that with people who, just mention Brunson, but I think he's really the only one that consistently shows up like every time. And I didn't think he had a bad game tonight, but it's just that they made him work, and then we just cannot have that situation where even if Cade is going to get his points, like he has to, we have to make him break a sweat. And then also it's just that everyone else stepped up. Like when we're going 8 for 35 from 3 and the other team is going 15, that just can't happen.
Yeah, they folded.
So, you know what?
Pistons rose to the occasion. Knicks folded. They folded.
Yep.
They folded.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So I'll see you. I'll try to be at the watch party. I always try to come through, and have a good night. Let's move on to the next. Let's go Knicks, people.
Let's go, man. Shout out to our guy, Cliff Clerval on the Discord. And you guys heard Cliff, man. We back outside Saturday night. Knicks taking on the Houston Rockets. H-Town coming into the building. 7 o'clock, Clinton Hall 36 is the place to be, man. Free for everybody. Head over to KnicksFanTV.com right now and get your tickets before they sell out. Cliff will be there. I'll be there. DJ Eric L. Beats on the 1s and 2s. We always have live game audio. The food is fantastic. The drinks are good. We play games. We do prizes. We do raffles. You name it, man. We got something for everybody. Bring the kids. Bring the wife. Bring the dog. Whoever it is, man. Family show. Always at the Knicks Fan TV watch party at Clinton Hall 36, 16 West 36th Street in New York City. Katie and the boys coming into town. Make sure you guys pull up, man. KnicksFanTV.com to get your tickets. All right, tonight was a doubleheader back-to-back for me tonight, so I'm going to wrap it up. Got another one tomorrow. If you guys are here with us today, man, with our show with Caleb Silverman here with us tonight, or you were with CK2K and play-by-play, throw a back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back in the chat. But yeah, that's it, man. Tough night. Shout out to Hasib 5039, franchise channel member, says Brunson expects the max in 2028. When can we expect him to actually be a point guard and put your all-star center in position for easy baskets? That was one thing that me and Caleb talked about today. It's interesting to finish on that comment, Al. I said, look, he's going to ask for the bag, and he deserves it. He took the pay cut. However, in the words of Spider-Man, Al, with great power comes great responsibility. When you get the bag, Al, when he gets the bag, the sentiment is going to change if he can't win the big one. That's just what's going to happen. So it's like, I hope he gets it, but it's a cautious move. Be very careful when you sign that paperwork. You got to know what you're getting into.
The pressure will be 10 times heavier with a bigger contract. As it always goes, man. Hey, you want to see? Go back to when A-Rod was on the Yankees. Remember that contract? How much criticism did he get when he signed, right? Because he signed a big contract for the Yankees, and then outside of one World Series, for a team that is always expected to win the World Series every year, got a lot of criticism, man. But that goes with anybody. You signed a big contract in New York, you better perform.
That's all I'm saying, man. It's going to be tough. Hoodies Fitz $5 super chat says, I don't believe the Pistons have enough offense for playoffs. Cade hitting all those tough shots was disheartening. 44% from 3. Tough. Makes it feel fluky. Hashtag hating. Hey, Hoodies is hating. Hoodies, I'm surprised you didn't have smoke for Mike Brown tonight. He usually hates on the coach after a tough loss, did Hoodies. But he was in the building tonight, I'm sure, as a season ticket holder. That, started off well, Al. Started off like a playoff atmosphere. It was thick in there for sure. Cade quieted that down quickly on the road, hostile territory, and put the Knicks to bed. So we're going to put this one to bed, man. I'm going to sleep. I might get a drink before I do that. Eat some cereal or something. Wrap it up, man.
Yeah, I see everyone saying that I'm ready because I started yawning on the show. I got above the room saying, Alex trying to get some rest. Alex, try to get some rest, my G. And then we got Cody Glock in here saying, Alex done. Alex mentally in bed right now. Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, ladies. Do that to you when you go out like this.
Absolutely. Switch to everybody that donated to the show tonight. Hey, if you want to donate, you didn't get a chance to leave a super chat. We're leaving the Cash App right here. $KnicksFanTV. Support the wave, support the machine, man. Cash App, $KnicksFanTV. Appreciate everybody for your support. Like, share, subscribe. Kelly Iko, Yahoo Sports tomorrow at 12:30. I'm gonna get some sleep. See y'all on the lunchtime grind. We out of here, man. Peace.